Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. It is going to be a short Sunday chat today, I don't feel too clever. We started the day in the garden. Hannah's helping to clear out the gravel beds because that's on the ground and involves bending and everything, doesn't do my back any good, and I'd have to do everything on the kneeler. So she's been working on that while I put another coat of stain on the shed. And I've upset my balance, basically. That's what it really comes down to, and it's made me feel ill. And basically it was having the tin of stain on the floor because it's a 5 litre can. It's actually quite heavy to just hold, so I put it down. So I was bending down to dip the brush in, standing up, bending down, standing up, and I got all lightheaded, and in the end I had to come in. But not before Hannah very bravely went up on the tall steps, which she won't normally go on because she gets the shakes. She's not frightened of heights, she just doesn't do steps very well. But I stood on the bottom while she got the worst of that sticky up bamboo stuff. So that's another job sort of mostly done. There's still a few bits sticking up, but she didn't feel too comfortable up the top of the steps, and I wouldn't go up there feeling like lightheaded, so I thought I'm not doing tall steps today. So anyway, Hannah's carrying on working outside in the garden in the shade. It's coming and going, the sun. It's a sort of semi-cloudy day and it's not too hot, there's a breeze, so it's workable in the garden. Last time I didn't realise, because I hadn't seen her since, she made herself ill. She's one of these, when she starts something, she don't like quitting. Likes to see it through and get it finished, and she did that last time in that heat in the sun, and then she was sick in the night and felt lousy the next day, took the day off work and everything, so you know, so I'm keeping my eye on her today. But she's in the shade at the moment and playing around with that bit of garden and stuff. So anyway, yesterday's visit to Burnhams, that went very well. We had a pleasant trip both ways, no hold-ups, no traffic issues. Lovely scenery and lovely weather. It was warm, but then it had stepped back a bit from the heat wave conditions, so it wasn't, you know, up in the 30s or anything like that. But it was a warm day, and obviously we're going to a nursery which is inside greenhouses. But it was bearable. Sarah had lots of fans around and everything, and the orchid displays were very good. I've got some clips. I will put those together as a separate video with some music because there's voices and everything going on, so we'll do that later in the week. But we had a very nice day. Peter came with us. He has been to Burnhams a few times, but he certainly hasn't come along with me. We had no panics. I always sort of think, you know, how my driving is based on keeping one eye half on my passenger, and if there's a lot of and stamping on the floor, and you think perhaps my driving's not so hot. But no, it seemed quite a calm and pleasant passenger, so that's good. Hannah was happy to sit in the back, so yes, and a good night's sleep last night. It was a lot cooler, and it looks like it's going to be the same again for the next few days, cooler at night, which means at least you catch up on your sleep. So anyway, those of you who tried guessing the orchids from the little teaser video, one person got it totally right, others got it part right, or some got just one. That'll be the one with the leaves sticking out the top. Yeah. Anyway, that was what today was mainly around, but we do have a new member on YouTube, so thank you very much and welcome, Christelle Lau, and that it's one of those words that could be pronounced in many ways, L-O-U-G-H, so it could be luff, could be low, could be, you know, so, but anyway, that's how it's spelt. I may or may not have said it right, but welcome. Roll call at the end adjusted. There's one or two gone missing that I hadn't noticed, but as I was updating it today, I you know, sort of had it checked and make sure that's sort of right, or as right as I can be. yes, so that's good. And thank you for all those that are members, either on the Patreon site or on the YouTube channel itself. Thanks for hanging in there, most welcome. And thanks to everybody who watches the channel, keeps the channel going, because without the views and the watchers, you good viewers, then you know the channel fades. So thanks for keeping it going. It's you're most welcome. And so I don't feel too clever today. Anyway, the main point of this was new orchids, so we will. I'll move the camera around a bit, but not too much, because somebody said, "Oh, big orchids." Well, I had to change it to tall, not necessarily big. Anyway, if we get round somewhere like that, because obviously I'll bring each one up to the camera anyway. 2 are in bloom, but the one that a lot of people guessed was this one, so we'll do this one first. It's a shame that I do this to Sarah, that she has to wrap them all up like this, and then all I do is tear it all off. And it's all your fault, because it's you that like the unwrapping ceremony. And if they're not wrapped up, I can't unwrap them, can I? But yeah, it adds a little bit of drama and suspense into the whole thing, doesn't it? So. Right, so as quite a few people guessed, we have a new Cymbidium. And Hannah got one exactly the same. So she'll take hers home with her. Now this has got no name, but it's going to be a light pink. It says that on the label, but it's not its name. It has bloomed, the cut spikes here, but what we've got is a very healthy plant. That's what caught my eye, with many new growths. There's a set of 3 there, and then coming round here we've got another 2 here, yeah? So there's 5 new growths on this. Is there one in the middle of the plant? Yes, and there's one in the middle of the plant. So 5 or 6 new growths, no old leafless bulbs, and what is obviously a healthy root system, yeah? So I was well pleased with the plant itself, and most of those new growths should bloom. So this should put on a good show when it gets to its natural blooming cycle, which is probably going to be a midwinter to late winter blooming, which is when most Cymbidiums bloom really, and heading towards spring perhaps, but it depends when it. Once they come into bloom, if they bloom in the winter for me, then the blooms will last a long time, because obviously it's a lot cooler in here, because there's no heat. I'm not paying for heat. But yes, a lovely healthy plant. It would have been nice if it had a name, but I can live without that. The old bulbs are nice and plump. It's a nice plant, it's a good healthy plant. We've got to find somewhere to put that. Well, we can just go down there for now. I'll sort it in a minute. I'm not putting it down there, actually. You're going to stay up here. I don't want to bend down. It's the bending down that started the funny lightheadedness today. Right, now the other one of these 2, some people guessed, because I did hint that I might be doing this, so wasn't much of a guess really, but this is a replacement to a type of orchid that I like out of this genus, and I lost it. It just went over. And I thought, if I see a nice one, I will replace it. So here we have a nice one. Took a while going through because there were a number of these, took a while going through them to find the one that, the trouble is with these coming in from the continent, is that they stake the spikes to keep them upright, and also for transport. They're easier to transport. But in doing so, they often press the stakes up against the leaves, and you get like a a distortion in the leaf where, you know, the spikes are the most important thing, and it can sort of spoil the look of the leaves, whereas the two stakes on this plant don't touch the leaves. So the plant itself is a nice plant. It's large, it's got a piece of netting over the top of the pot to stop all the bark falling out. That's new, I haven't seen that before, and it has got a name. It's Phalaenopsis savona. Savona possibly, and it's a lovely yellow with a darker yellow and white lip, so it's almost an identical replacement to the one I lost. There are still buds to open, so the spikes aren't fully open yet, and it's a lovely healthy plant. Lovely healthy leaves, all of them. Latest leaf didn't get to the full size. That's probably because the plant started putting all its energy into the blooming. This is, looking at the stem, its first blooming. So it would be classed as a relatively young plant, but it's been grown on in nursery conditions, so it's put on, you know, a good few leaves. Very, very healthy root system. Yeah. So yeah, a nice plant. And it will stay out here, although I keep my Phalaenopsis in the kitchen, because it's so tall it can't go on the bottom shelf on the windowsill itself, and if it goes on the top shelf it touches the top, so it doesn't fit in the kitchen. It's going to have to stay here until the blooms are finished, then the plant can go out with the others in their kitchen on the windowsill. But yeah, good plant, healthy, very good root system. And as I said, the blooms are identical to the one I lost. Got a feeling they're slightly larger. And the one that I lost didn't have a name, or if it did, it wasn't on the plant. And this looks like it's one of those, if you look at that pair of blooms there, this one's only just opening, and it's nowhere near as big as this one. So this looks like it's one of those where the blooms grow in size after opening. Some orchids do that. So that's one. I'll have to stay there for that. I have to clear some space on the display area over there so that I can admire these from my seat in there. And I think one person said, oh, another Cymbidium probably. That is a miniature Cymbidium, by the way. This is semi-miniature, so it's not the smallest size, it's the next one up. But it's not going to get huge. So somebody guessed another Cymbidium, and the yellow Phalaenopsis that you lost, a replacement, and then they said, and another Phalaenopsis. So that one person was right. You wait till you see the colour of the blooms on this one. It was catching a lot of people's eyes. Ugh. So the big reveal. And this was in the reduced area, because all the blooms are open, all the buds are open, so the blooms are probably not going to last the full length of time that you'd expect. When you buy a Phalaenopsis, you expect the blooms to have been relatively recently opened and some still to go, so that you get the full time. Well, once all the blooms are open, you can't tell how long you've got left with that set of blooms. It might only be a week, and they all, and they all drop. And that's the state this one's in. So it was reduced. Nonetheless, it still has the blooms on it. You're going to like this. What about that for a colour then? Nice, well-rounded, good-sized blooms, and a balanced colour in the lip. There's a pinkish tinge there, the white centre, but it's a pink that goes with the orange, because pink and orange should clash, but that just works. and you know, this colour stood out from a long way away. But as you can see, it's got 2 spikes, but the buds in the main are open, but it looks like the spike might extend and produce some new buds. Some Phalaenopsis do that. But again, it's a reasonably healthy plant. It's got a good root system, but there's a lot of algae in the pot, which implies it's been in there a while. That's good, not bad. But it will get a repot when the blooms are finished. And that is Phalaenopsis bologna. I'll show you that. I presume I pronounced that correct. Bologna. I'm not sure it's from the same source as the other one, because obviously these are Burnhams labels. But it's a nice plant. It's got a new leaf coming, healthy root system, healthy leaves, and again, the stakes holding the spikes up have not been pushed into the leaves, and some of the others had. So it took a while going through all the plants trying to find the one that had some nice spikes but a healthy plant as well. And having a new leaf coming is good stuff. With a healthy root system, there's active root tips going on in this pot. You can just see through the algae. It's pretty algae ridden, but it does show it's been in the pot a while. And this again, looking at the stem, is its first blooming. So good stuff. And as I said, that is one hell of a colour. That is absolutely stunning. Nice patterning, nice well-rounded blooms, and as I said, a pink that can go with the orange. And do you know why that pink goes with the orange? See if you can see it. Those of you who are a bit artistic and into colours and colour blending. What colour is the veining on that orange? It's got a pinkish tinge, hasn't it? So the pink isn't just on the lip. It blends out into the petals and sepals as well, incredibly subtly. Anyway, so those were the 3 new plants. I don't normally buy Phalaenopsis, but with Hannah taking all of hers home, I've only got 8 out in the kitchen. There's plenty of space on the shelves for another 2, despite this one being a biggie. You know, I mean, this one is, it'll be in old money, but that's 15, 16 inches across from tip to tip. So it's a big plant. And it hasn't got a new leaf coming yet. But replacement blooms, nice balanced yellow, nice colour, gradation, white going out into the yellow, and a nice deep yellow lip. So well pleased with that one. That's still got buds to open and branching spikes, and the branches have still got buds that are going to open as well. So there we go, that's what we got. And as I need to shut the door and turn the fan off and everything, the sun's just come back out again, so it's starting to warm up in here, so we'll have to get the ventilation going again. As I said, I don't feel right at the moment, and Hannah sent me in to just have a rest in my comfy chair and shut my eyes for a bit, because I've still got to drive Hannah home today. We had our brunch earlier after doing some work outside. I've put a full coat on the front of the shed and another coat on the side that we look at, you know, the bit with no windows in basically. So I've painted all of the shed that you can see today, so that's my bit, and Hannah's still out there pottering away. She's tidying up this border out here at the moment, cutting back all the dead stuff to make it look tidy. And that will also make it easier for me to water it with the hose, because I won't be watering stuff that's died back, you know. Anyway, I'm not doing anything else outside today. I might take the bags round the front, get the side gate open and do that. But this lightheadedness is gone, but I still don't feel right. I still feel a bit strange. So that's it for today, I'm afraid. As I said, relatively short. It's my day off tomorrow. I don't normally post on a Monday. I will probably be sticking to that. I've got a feeling I just might have got a little bit too hot yesterday. There is a possibility. Because when you're chatting and looking at orchids and doing a bit of filming and all that sort of stuff, you're busy. When you're busy, you don't necessarily notice that things aren't quite right. And it was warm in Burnhams yesterday. Of course, they're doing it all again today. It was a 2-day event. I will let you know that the lady from Devon that was privileged to go with a select few from the organisers of Gardeners World Live, which was at the NEC this year. I went along, as you know, those who follow the channel, and I've explained that it's going to be in a new place next year. The lady from Devon went with that select few to see the venue and talk about how it's going to be next year. And the information I got, I'm not doing a full-blown disgorge of the information because it'll come out publicly via the Orchid Societies and Gardeners World Live via the BBC in due course. But I'm now confident that I can talk to the few select people that I'm closer to with the Orchid Society. It's going to be good. The venue is stunning. And it's not going to have lots of hoops to jump through. I mean, the little bit that I heard that's useful is parking's going to be £8, not 15, and you will probably be able to pay to park. They're that keen on the event being a success, they're going to put a new access road into the estate. So they're building a new bit of road for us all to drive in on. Which is good, because when I looked at it online from the aerial view, I couldn't see how on earth you get in there. So there'll be a new road, that sounds good. And in addition to that, there doesn't seem to be restrictive elements on the number of people who can set up a display or anything like that. Whereas the NEC, you know, you can only have this many. You know, so on the setup day, you were only allowed so many people. That's all that were allowed in. So, you know, they had so many hoops that you had to sort of play ball with. So it sounds like it's going to be good stuff. I may or may not, I don't know, make it a 2-day event next year. That is a possibility. I might go up on the setup day and help out, stop over, enjoy the festivities of what happens in the evening, which is normally going out for a meal or something, and then be there for the first day when it opens to the public, when all the awards are made public and everything, so when the results of the judging come out and everything. So I might do it as a 2-day event. It'll make the travelling so much easier, yeah? So, you know, drive up on day 1 and not have a long day and then have to drive back again. That may or may not happen. Yesterday with Hannah, nothing's happening on this. These are thoughts only, but you can put them into your heads with the idea behind it. I was showing Hannah a centralised place called Blue Cross Rescue where you can adopt a cat, and I was showing her, you know, the cats are all over the country in lots. It's a coordinated centralised website. There's lots of different centres where, you know, they're rescue centres, and this site pulls them all together so you can see everything they've got at once. And I was just showing her the sort of information you get and everything like that. Then we found another site, local, or more local anyway, where you could put in what county you wanted to search in, and we put in Hampshire, and I found a cat that I really like the look of. I think it was either 4 years 9 months, so not a kitten or, you know, too young, it's an adult cat. And overnight I thought, you know, I might actually follow this up. So this morning I went and had a look, and when I read the profile in more detail, it specifically said needs access to outside space. I'm trying to find a cat that has been a house cat, that hasn't had outside access, then it can just be a house cat. The problem I've got, you see, Mojo couldn't jump much. She was a very old cat. So he was safe in this garden. The problem I've got is that there is a way out. By jumping up on the table or the bench and then jumping up onto the shed, you can be off into other gardens. How does the cat get back? If you can go sort of boink, boink, jump down, how do you get back up the full height without anything to climb on? So I'm reluctant to have a cat that can get out of the garden. But what I might do is consider a harness training. Hannah's cat, she's trained it, it loves the harness. What it can't stand is the lead that goes with it. Because she's hoping to take her cat for a walk around, you know, the area outside the place, get some fresh air, feel the grass under its feet. Because it's never been outside the house, you know, from when it was my son's cat to becoming Hannah's cat. It's never been outside. So, but what wouldn't be fair is to keep a cat in as a pure house cat that's had access to outside. Especially if it's had free access via a cat flap. That's not fair, so I wouldn't do that. Anyway, I got to the point in my mind where I was seriously considering having a cat. On the grounds that you can get automatic feeders. See, Mojo wouldn't eat biscuits. In his older age, he wouldn't eat biscuits. He would only eat what you effectively like fresh food. And you can't put that down for 2 or 3 days, it doesn't work. But if a cat's happy with biscuits, you can get an automatic feeder. So providing there's plenty of water and everything, a cat could be left for a day or 2, yeah? Without somebody else having to come in, because I haven't got anybody else to come in, not where I live now. So we may go down a new cat route, but it's a thought at the moment. That's as far as it's got. But that's progressed from my mind that said I'm not having another cat. So we have moved on a bit. Whether we move any further, I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, so that's that. Bit of movement on, you know, the way I feel about it, perhaps. Hannah doesn't understand. She says, I don't know how you can, you know, after all the time of having cats in the house, I can't understand how you can be without a pet, without a cat in the house. And it is difficult. And on that subject, those of you who perhaps visit Insa's channel once in a blue moon need to get over there and have a look at what he's got. He's being very brave. He's got 2 of something I'm not having. I wouldn't have the patience to deal with what he's got. But go and have a look. They're incredibly cute. Anyway, so that's it. That's going to do for today. It's starting to warm up in here quite badly. I need to get the door open again and the fan on full whack. Find a place for these to be over on the display area so that I can see them from in the house. And I haven't got a clue what videos I'll be doing next week, apart from the clips from Burnhams, which I will put into a video with some music and some other things, I'm sure. But that will be one definite, and the others will be as and when I do something. So thanks for being here, thanks for watching, thanks to my members on both the sites, and don't forget your old thumbs up. Don't forget to think about subscribing if you're not subscribed. It's not a financial commitment, it is nothing more than a tick box that YouTube likes to see. And when YouTube likes to see things on a channel and they take place, it pushes the channel a bit, so it does help. So it's just a tick box. The thumbs up is nothing more than a tick box, but YouTube likes it. Leaving a comment helps a lot, because effectively the way YouTube counts the comments, which is a bit daft really, for every comment that's left that I leave an answer to, like somebody says thanks for the video, I put you're welcome, YouTube counts that as 2 comments, even though one of them's mine. So be it, that's what it does. It all helps the channel, the number of comments, the interaction, and then the retention, watching it all helps. It's all good stuff. So yes, I will see you in the next one, whatever that is. Thanks for being around. Quick reminder that I do have a Facebook group. Not a lot of activity going on at the moment, but new members are always welcome. There is a question it's a group, it's a private group, you have to join it. And if you attempt to join it, there is a question, it's in the notes. If you don't answer that question, you get declined immediately without a second thought. The question is there to be answered. If your answer includes words like from your YouTube channel, you're in. No questions asked. If, however, you have answered the question and you've got 2,000 other groups that you're members of, you probably won't get in, because you're not going to spend any time or dedication or even involvement in my little group when you're a member of so many. If, however, you're a member of quite a few and some of those have got a sprinkling of orchid or plant related stuff, then again you'll be in. But mention the YouTube channel and you're just in without any further ado. But it's there for people to use. It was put there for people who wanted to show me pictures of their orchids, or orchids that had problems, to try and get a bit of help. There are some very good growers on that YouTube group that will offer help willingly. So that's what that's there for. What else? I think that'll do. Yeah. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.